Hi everyone, this is going to be for Urban Decay's just released Naked Smoky palette. So as most of you know, there is Urban Decay's Naked 1, 2, and 3 palettes. This is a new incarnation of the Naked palette with smoky eyeshadow shades. It is currently available through Urban Decay, Ulta, and Sephora for purchase. I'll put a link in the description box below to where you can find it if you want to buy it. And of course, as always, please check the description box for the review link that I will include. That review is written after I fully test out the palette and wear it throughout the day and see how it wears, what the texture's like, the pigmentation, etc. In this video, it will be more of a first impressions, and I will swatch all of the colors for you so that you can see what they truly look like. This palette retails for $54, and like with all the other Naked palette, it includes 12 eyeshadow shades. Urban Decay says that this contains everything you need to create the perfect neutral smoky eye. The palette also includes a dual-ended brush. And the shades themselves, there are 9 new shades that have never been included in other Urban Decay palettes before. And Urban Decay also says that these will have a velvety texture with rich color, staying power, and blendability. Alright, I hope that you are subscribed. If you haven't seen my video on ColourPop's Ultra Matte Lips, all of the 25 shades are swatched in that video for you, and I'm giving away 4 of the colors, which I know many of you have been unable to get your hands on them because of the website issues, so that will be a nice way for a couple of winners to be able to try out the Ultra Matte Lips before they are restocked by ColourPop. So I'll link that video right here for you if you want to click on it and go see it to enter. Alright, let's get looking at the Urban Decay Naked Smoky palette. So just quickly about the palette itself. This is pretty different from the original 3 Naked neutral palettes. This one is made of plastic, and you actually get a magnetic closure with this one. It's not a snap closure. Like with the other ones, you do get a nice full-length mirror inside, which is great, and as I mentioned, that dual-ended brush. But the plastic inside is sort of translucent. You can see through it, so it has kind of a different feel from the other Naked palettes. Here's the dual-ended brush that you get. You get a small, rounded, sort of smudger type of brush or detail brush on one end, and you get a one with longer bristles that's more flexible, more for blending purposes, and they are made with synthetic bristles, as always. So in terms of the eyeshadows themselves, I will do 2 sets of 6 shades in terms of swatching them. We will start with High, Dirty Sweet, Radar, Amore, Slanted, and Dagger. And then I will swatch Black Market, Smolder, Password, Whiskey, Combust, and 13. So here's High, which is a champagne shimmer with micro glitter. Here's Dirty Sweet, which is a medium bronze. Here's Radar, which is a metallic taupe with iridescent micro glitter. I noticed right away that this one was stiffer in the pan. You can see that it does not go on as smoothly or as opaquely. I'm adding a second layer here, and as always with powder eyeshadows, these are swatched over a primer. Amore. Urban Decay says this is a metallic silver taupe with tonal sparkle. I don't see much of a taupe tone to this. Maybe under certain light, but right now it seems mostly just like a medium grade silver with silver glitter. Slanted is a light metallic gray. And Dagger is a medium charcoal with micro shimmer. Okay, so here are the first 6 shades. I'm going to go over the textures for you. The first 2, which are High and Dirty Sweet, have a nice creamy, soft, smooth texture. They go on very smoothly on the skin. The least impressive was definitely Radar here. It was noticeably stiff and kind of dry in the pan, and that showed itself when being swatched on the skin. It was more patchy. I wanted to apply 2 layers of it. Might not be a problem if you are blending this just through the crease, but might pose a problem when being patted onto the lid. Of course, that's something I will let you know in the review. Next up we have here is Amore. This one is soft and kind of creamy, but it is also a little crumbly. It has larger glitter particles in it. Then we moved on to Slanted. Also decently smooth and creamy, but not as even as the first 2 shades that we saw here. And then we had Dagger over as the last one in this first set. This one produced a lot more fallout than the first 5 shades, but it has pretty good pigmentation. It's not completely opaque or smooth, but it would very quickly be if you layer just a little more product onto it. Black Market is a jet black with a satin finish. Smolder is a deep plum taupe. Password is a cool matte taupe. Again, seemed kind of stiff in the pan. I'm adding a second layer of color to smooth it out. Whiskey is a rich matte brown. Adding a little more product to even it out. Combust is a soft pink taupe. This also has a matte finish. And 13 is a light beige. Urban Decay says this has a satin finish. Maybe that will come out in sunlight or flash. It looks pretty matte to me right now though. Okay. Alright, and here are the right 6 shades from the palette. Again, let's go over the colors and the textures. These 2 deepest colors, which are Black Market and Smolder, have a pretty nice smooth formula to them. They have just a little bit of a sheen or shimmer to their finish. The middle 2 matte shades were definitely the least impressive just in terms of the texture. They were drier and stiffer in the pan, and they went on more patchy. Password was the most patchy of all of these, and Whiskey just a little bit behind that. Now, again, this may change once you put them on the eyelids, especially because these 2, most people will be using these in the crease, and so they're going to be applied with a fluffy brush. So that unevenness in the texture might actually not really show through when you use them in that way. That's why it's important to, if you're interested really in a full-length review, to read the review to see my thoughts on how they work in a practical setting. But I'm showing you the first impressions and how they apply just in the swatches right now. These 2 matte shades are, I guess this technically is supposed to be a satin shade. These 2 shades are better. They don't show the same type of unevenness or patchiness that the Password and Whiskey shades did. So Combust and 13 go on more smoothly onto the skin, even though they have that matte or close to matte type of finish. Okay, so there is Urban Decay's Naked Smoky Eyeshadow Palette. Do I think that this really is a necessary palette? I kind of don't. I like the Urban Decay regular naked palettes. I think my favorite is probably the original one, just because I don't look as good in cool toned or rose tone shades, which are the second and the third incarnation of the naked palette. And with this one, I don't know, I feel like we have a handful of really nice shades that are textured really well, but then you definitely have at least a few shades that don't really hit the mark. And for a palette that is used almost predominantly for a smoky or more dramatic look, you probably won't utilize this type of palette as often as you would one of the other neutral naked palettes. So I don't really think that this is a necessity, especially at the over $50 price point. It's definitely not a bad palette, but most of us have a lot of smoky shades already, and so I just don't think that this one is a necessary addition to someone's collection. Of course, that could change and improve a bit with the actual testing and application of these shades, and I will definitely let you know if it changes drastically in the description box below. In the meantime, leave me a comment and let me know what you think of this palette if you already have your hands on it, or just from looking at the shades, what you think. If this video was helpful to you, please give it a thumbs up. As always, thank you for taking the time to watch, and I'll see you in the next video. Pink. Highball is a hot red pink. And Mars is a red fuchsia. Alright, here's the third set of Ultra Matte lip colors.